3 tools to revive your spiritual practice. If your spiritual practice has gone stagnant or taken a backseat, or maybe you just aren't connecting or feeling good, then it's time for a spiritual reset. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tools to help renew and reset your spiritual practice so you can enter into more flow, connectivity, and feel good. Our spiritual practices are the concentrated, intentional ways that we use to connect, feed our spirit, that then informs how we even navigate in the world. They're really important because as we dedicate our time and energy to these different practices, not only does it help to grow our connection, strengthen our faith, build our confidence, open up guides, angels, all of the good stuff, but also is a way that we can feed and nurture ourselves. But with anything, it can go flat. It happens. But before I go any further, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a 4th generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. And if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so grateful. And don't forget to hit that little subscribe button, hit that bell notification. I release new videos every week. And coming up this Sunday, I'm starting my first group class. I am so excited. Psychic University. It's a 4-week long live class with community and homework and connection. It's gonna be super rad. So if that's something that's interesting to you, check out the description box below where you'll find all the info. So let's dive in. Our spiritual practices sometimes can fall stagnant. And I know this because this recently happened to me. Usually I have a morning practice where I do some yoga and do some meditation, some breath work, journaling. And for a really long time, for a few weeks, I was recognizing that I just wasn't showing up to it. Or when I did, it was like my body was in the chair, but my spirit was elsewhere. And at first I was like, I gotta just keep working harder. But every time it was like my heart wasn't in it. So I knew it was time for a reset, renewal, as we grow and change, our practices are living, breathing things, and they need to grow and change and evolve with us. And I was talking to my dad, we were talking about one time we went to India and met with this guru. And an interesting thing that he said was a spirit, like having a spiritual connection without a practice is like a river with no banks. It's wide and shallow, but our practice gives us a depth. And I was like, oh, I love that. Good way, good reframe. So if you're here, we have to recognize that our practices aren't about appeasing, Sky Daddy, because that's not how it works, but about a way that we can feed and care for ourselves, connect to our spirit, to be self-loving. And when we can even just start from that approach, it can change how we look at our practices. So the first thing that I'm gonna ask you to do is just start by getting clear on your intention. What is your why? Why do you want a spiritual practice? What does it bring you? What are the gifts that you get from it? When we can notice our intention, that can help to inform our decisions and behavior. It's like, I know that when I go to the gym, I'll feel better afterwards. And sometimes that's what motivates me to go when I don't want to go. Same. So we can start with an intention that can help color everything. And also, it's not between you and some sort of higher power. It's really between you and you. And I always think sometimes of discipline as a dirty word. It can kind of feel like harsh. But discipline comes from the word disciple, which means student. So when we can think about even just being disciplined, it's being a student of life, of the universe. So the first way that I'd say in starting to really revive your spiritual practice, which is one thing that I did, is create a new morning routine. For me, my morning routine was very stagnant in yoga, then some breath work, then I pulled a card. So instead, what I did was I started to play my guitar as a way to practice and connect with my spirit and feed my spirit. And that ended up creating a change. Then I would start to do some yoga, and I put on fun music, and instead of following a class, just kind of did whatever my body felt. And that was a fun way to start to renew my practice that gave me new life and energy. So for you, create your own morning practice. It doesn't have to be meditation. It doesn't have to be any specific set way. It could be journaling, journaling, talking to your higher self. It could be going for a nice long walk. That could be your spiritual practice. Your spiritual practice can even be gardening. Whatever it is that connects you to something that you love, where you can get into a flow state, that is where your practice resides. And if you can make it fun and interesting, like I love dancing, a way that I practice my spiritual practice in the morning, then it's something that you can look forward to. Second of all, my other favorite way to really, when I'm really feeling disconnected, is to get out in nature. Anytime that we're in nature, we connect to not only source energy of Mother Earth, but it quiets us. It's our home number one. And that is where we can find commonplace and connection with the divine. That's where we can open up to the miracle and wonder of the real world. Not only is it cleansing for our energetic bodies, but it is in and of itself spiritual. So go to a beautiful park and go for a walk or a hike or anything that connects you back to places that you feel good. Nature is the ultimate way for me. I go every single year to the Pacific Northwest and go camping, because that's one of the ways that I renew my spirit and my practice. And the third way that I'd say in renewing your own spiritual practice is you can even start by getting a gratitude journal. Gratitude connects us to our heart space, to what it is that we love. It raises our energetic vibration and actually helps to even inform our mindset, which I did a video on a few weeks ago. But when we can use gratitude as a way to connect to spirit, back to the things that we love, back to the things that we know to be true, that we're grateful for, everything in us opens up. And it can be as simple as naming 3 things a day. And the last thing that I just want to say is, don't make your spiritual practice too complicated. Sometimes our high intellect comes in and says, oh, it needs to be all these different things, then I need to meditate, then I need to do yoga, then I need to do a billion trillion things. And it becomes a have to. It becomes not fun. It becomes a drag. It becomes one more thing that we have to do on our list. And when we can change that of it's not about what we have to do, but about a recentering, paying attention that these things feed me, these things make me feel good. And therefore, as an act of connection, of love, of care for myself, I'm gonna prioritize this, because when you fill your spiritual cup, when you fill your well, from there, that's when you have energy to give, share, that's where you feel good in life. So what is your spiritual practice? Do you have one? I would love to hear what your practices are, what your favorite practices are. Give me other ideas, share with our community in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And like I was saying, you can always download my own guided meditation, which is a very powerful way that you can use to guide your own and start your day with a spiritual practice. You can also get that in the link below. And also take my spirit type quiz, because we all have different spirit types and there are different ways. If you're a fire spirit, one of your spiritual practices might have to include movement. Well, if you're an earth spirit, maybe being just quiet, sitting in nature, hanging on in a field of flowers, that can be your spiritual practice. Maybe if you're an air spirit, writing is your spiritual practice. Maybe if you're a water spirit, being alone and listening to music can be your spiritual practice. Your spiritual practice can be anything you want it to be, as long as it connects you back to your spirit. That's the most important thing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, my group class starts Sunday. I can't wait. Yay. Check out all my free resources down below and leave me a comment. I will see you next week. Bye.